Cain, the co-creator of the original Interplay Fallout series and currently at Obsidian, spoke about this topic a few years ago. He shares a checklist of features. If a game possesses those features, then he would consider it more to be a role-playing game or an RPG. I will link his video for you guys to watch, but in this video, we discuss his checklist and I add my observations regarding Bethesda RPGs. Sadly, the meaning of a role-playing game is often diluted and misused, a problem largely stemming from widespread marketing practices. It is a significant issue because there is an unfortunate trend among marketers to apply the RPG tag to games that fundamentally belong to other genres like action or adventure games. This lack of integrity in labeling is detrimental to both the audience who may purchase a game based on a misrepresentation and to the genre itself, as the core identity of RPGs becomes compromised. Anyway, let's take a look at Tim's checklist. Checklist number 1. Character creation is a must. You must be able to create and name a character. I totally agree here. I frequently see games centered on story and cutscenes labeled as RPGs such as The Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 2077 and the upcoming Crimson Desert. In these titles, players are confined to a single predetermined character. Given this constraint, I struggle to understand how they qualify as role-playing games, since true role-playing to me implies the freedom to embody a character of the player's choice. I believe these games should be more accurately classified as action or adventure games. So yes, character creation is a must. Tim says the class, the race, the gender, the attributes, the skills, the background, the traits, these choices have to matter. The system should be checking these choices you made during character creation and react accordingly as you play the game. For example, in a game like Morrowind, the initial choices you make have a tangible impact. For instance, selecting a gender provides specific attribute bonuses. Similarly, a character starting with high agility and a birth sign that fortifies attack will be mechanically inclined towards better dodging and higher hit chance, even if their actual weapon skills are low at the start. In Starfield, your selected background during character creation appears in dialogue. Your selected traits too can appear in dialogue. These dialogue options offer new avenues of progression during a quest or a discussion. In Fallout New Vegas, skill checks appear in dialogue irrespective of your build made during character creation. I was not a fan of that. Like, if my character sucks at barter, why is the game giving me the dialogue option? In this instance, the game does not care about character creation choices. I thought Starfield 2 went overboard with skill checks, as you can see in these screenshots. We see commerce, negotiation and medicine skill checks appear in dialogue when my character did not choose a background with these skills during character creation. However, my character did work on improving these skills by adding skill points and participating in skill challenges. So if the game recognizes the player's skill progress and dynamically adds skill checks to dialogue, then that's brilliant. However, I wonder if we will see these same skill checks in another playthrough. If anyone has played multiple roleplay characters in Starfield, do share your insights. Tim then says character appearance does not matter. If the choice we make in character appearance do not matter in-game, then it is not important. Yeah, I totally agree. I spoke about this in my Skyrim modding philosophy video. I will link the video if you have not watched it. Next, player choice should matter. The player should have agency in how they act, such as choosing between combat stealth or picking certain dialogue options. Is your character shooting people or avoiding combat? Is he stealing things? Is he being hostile during conversations? Tim says the game should react to these in-game choices. This one is easy. All of our Bethesda RPGs have incredible reactivity to what the player does in-game. Like, if you get caught stealing, the crime system pops up magically with a famous scene in Oblivion where the guard says, "Stop, you criminal scum." I love the reactivity in Bethesda sandbox RPGs, although they need to really improve by offering more role-playing options in dialogue. In classic Fallout 1, if you did some exploration and picked up some specific information, they could show up in dialogue. There are no speech tags in dialogue. You may or may not know that a dialogue option was made available because of what your character did in-game. I adore that. Next, Cain talks about the story. The story should react to the character build and player choices to a small extent. Tim also prefers player-driven stories and does not like story-driven games. I totally agree. I will always prefer a player-driven story where players can explore and complete tasks in their preferred order, compared to a game where the narrative story railroads the player into doing whatever the story dictates. This is why I prefer Bethesda sandbox RPGs over narrative RPGs like Baldur's Gate 3. You can play multiple playthroughs of BG3, but you will have to go through the same story again in a linear manner. Yes, there are changes within that story, but the path is still linear, A to B. The designer of a narrative RPG says this is how the story will unfold. You will go from Zone 1 to Zone 2 to Zone 3. I don't like that. Bethesda games give you a framework and invite you to construct your own narrative. You activate certain story elements in the game world based on your character build and how you are role-playing them. In another playthrough, you activate a completely different set of story elements. This is one of the reasons why Bethesda games have such insane replay value. I'm still playing Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim and the Fallout games all these years later. The reason for that is simple. I can create my own stories in a Bethesda sandbox RPG. I can't do that when developers force me into a defined story no matter how great the story is. Next checklist. An RPG should have multiple endings. Tim says that the game should have multiple endings based on the actions taken and the choices made throughout the game. We really don't get this in Bethesda RPGs, right? At least not in the Elder Scrolls games. As I mentioned in my Skyrim modding philosophy video, I'm a role player. Rather than making one godlike character who takes 500 hours to develop, I rather have 20 unique and diverse characters, each of whom takes 25 to 35 hours to develop, but who gives me a different spin on Skyrim. So, the ending of a main quest hardly matters given the way I play. But do share your thoughts on this. Would you like Elder Scrolls games to have New Vegas style scenes at the end of the main quest? Areas or advancements are gated by player choices and abilities and not player level. Tim talks about gating, story gating, area gating or character advancement gating. These should be based on player choices. So let's say we have a dungeon and the game does not want the player to go inside right away. The key or a passphrase to enter the dungeon is with a character that can spawn later in the game. Tim says this is okay, but he does not like it if the door shows a message to the user saying you cannot enter until Act 3 or come back when you are level 20. We see such locations in Morrowind, right? You have this cave called the Cavern of the Incarnate. When you knock on the door and if you have not started the main quest, you get to listen to Azura's disembodied voice.
The door is locked and will not open. The star is the key. The door is locked and will not open. The star is the key.
Oh, I love that voice. The same thing when you try to enter Vivek's Palace or High Hrothgar in Skyrim. Ultimately, Tim says a game designer should not impose on the player, but let the player's choices impose on the player. The game world has to be big enough to support exploration and player choices. Tim likes it when the world is big enough so we have lots of side quests that take the focus away from the main story. No issues here with Bethesda games. These games are packed with tons of side content that totally gets you to forget the main story. I love that. I don't even care about the main story. If the main story sucks, who cares? I have hundreds of small stories to enjoy and hundreds of character stories that you can create by role-playing. Bethesda only needs to focus on improving the quality of side quests. In all of their games, including Starfield, we find excellence along with mediocrity. For every one incredible side quest, we find 10 fetcher or FedEx quests. These are simplistic quests. It's been that way since Morrowind. I really hope they have dedicated writing teams. Branching paths, player agency, choices and consequences have to be part of quest design. So there you have it. Cain says if you have all of these items mentioned in the checklist, your game is more of an RPG. If you have fewer of these, then your game is less of an RPG. You find lots of Morrowind elitists who say Oblivion and Skyrim are not RPGs. Then you have Fallout New Vegas elitists who say Fallout 3 and Starfield are not RPGs. Just stop. Just stop. I would rather listen to a legend of the CRPG genre like Cain than some self-titled experts on Reddit and Steam. Among many games that are marketed as RPGs but lack core role-playing tenets, Bethesda games stand out as genuinely role-player friendly. That's about it for this week's Sunday Musings. Do share your thoughts on what we discussed today. Thank you so much for watching. May the Divines watch over you.